Yo, yo, this is a quiet space. What's going on?
Yeah, it is. We got no music, but that's okay. I think it's because everybody's focusing on the mint happening right now. Coop, what's going on? GM, well, more like GN. How's it going?
It's going, dude. I'm just trying to go look at the mint page. I've been running around and I'm looking at this total supply, and for some reason, yeah, it's looking kind of funky. The bar's going across the page.
I was about to say I just put it into I just put it into the Slack here, but it looks like we got a UI issue happening. So I guess that'll be the very first thing that we get addressed here. Um, which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's not a problem at all. I think it's just pulling up from the previous contract here, so I think we'll get it fixed. But Coop, assuming you yourself don't have to resolve that, I think we should get this space underway and start talking about the mint that's happening today.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So first things first. Thank you everybody for hanging out in the space with us. GM, GN, good afternoon, whatever time of day it might be for you. This, of course, is a Last Remain space going over the amazing milestone of us finally hitting the Genesis Mint today. So despite this initial little hiccup that we're going to have with the UI picking up from the previous contract, we, of course, are minting our Genesis characters. So you've probably heard about it. We've been talking about it nonstop for the last couple of weeks since we actually did our previous free character NFT mint. And now today we're going to talk all about the mint. We're going to talk about the packaging, the details, everything in regards to what's going on with the Genesis characters, and let you know exactly what these things are, what they're for, why you should be considering them or even looking at them. And then, of course, a few questions from the audience as well. So let's get started here. Start off with the audience. Just to let you guys know, we will, of course, have a thread in the bottom right corner. If you haven't yet, make sure that you go and click on that button. It's a little comment button. Go and like and retweet the space so we can get a few more eyes on the space. We want to get as many people in here as possible. And then, of course, while you're there, throw a question in that thread because, as always, we're going to be having a question section at the end of this space. We're going to be choosing 5 winners with the best questions asking anything about Last Remains, Genesis characters, the mint, etc. And those winners are actually going to win a upcoming whitelist to our equipment mint that is happening in the near future here. So equipment is a very big deal, you guys, and you're definitely going to want to get in on this because what you need to outfit all your characters, whether they're standard NFT characters or the Genesis NFT characters, is going to be the equipment. So let's get this figured out here. Let's get going. I think one of the best ways to start out with this is actually going to be to talk a little bit about Last Remains. So I'm going to just give you guys a really, really quick intro. I'm sure that you've heard about the game already, but for anybody here who might be stopping by right now or a little bit later on, Last Remains, of course, is a AAA Web3 zombie battle royale. It is a survival extraction game that pits survivors up against not only the zombies in the environment, but each other. In the streets of Chongqing, this is a very high quality, it's a massive multiplayer game where you jump into a map with anywhere from 30 to 50 people. You all need to be looting through this map in order to stay alive, find valuables, some of which might actually be NFTs that are mintable on the chain. And of course, you're going to have to fight against zombies and other survivors in order to do it. So very, very exciting game. I've had a lot of fun playing it. I myself, I'm actually leading growth here, Last Remains, and also working on esports. You've probably seen me. I'm the voice behind a lot of the content, as well as the person who is playing the playtest with all of our amazing community. And I am, of course, joined up here by the man, the myth, the legend himself. I have Coop. Coop is the founder and CEO of both Earn Alliance and Last Remains. So Coop, I know that definitely you're going to be shuffling a few things on your side with everything going on, but I just wanted to give you a quick opportunity here to do yourself a little bit of justice, give everybody an intro, and let us know how you feeling today. We're finally on the mint.
Yeah, it's been months just dreaming of trying to get to this point. So, really excited to be here with everybody, and hopefully, it will be underway in a few minutes here. And yeah, if you don't know who I am, I'm Coop. I love games, been building them for many years now. Started modding games when I was a kid and eventually started making them into businesses. It's been a lot of fun on the journey. And now we're here working on a zombie stealth battle royale, as Guru has lovely said, in a great way of like what's happening with all that. So if you haven't seen the content, definitely check it out. And yeah, stoked to see and share, and definitely like give a little more insights around the stake search and rescue and the equipments, as these are all the I would say the secret sauce and the hiddenness of like stuff that we haven't talked about yet. So looking forward to diving in, and looking forward to all the questions from everybody here.
Great point. And just to reiterate, once again, guys, throw the questions for anybody who just jumped into the space into the bottom right corner there. Open up the thread by clicking on that comment section. Do us a favor, hit a like and a retweet on the space so we can get more eyes on it, and then we will get going. So if you throw a question in there, we will have an opportunity at the end of the space to go over them. And if your question is one of the 5 winners chosen, you'll get a whitelist going forward for the equipment mint. All right, without further ado, let's jump into it. So, Coop, you mentioned a couple of things, and we are going to get to those, but we got to start with the most important thing, and that is talking about the mint itself. So, I actually, we had a bit of an explanation from you talking about how big a milestone this is. I've been working with the team now for months, and we have been working towards this moment very, very strongly. We're really, really happy with all of the extra support and growth that we've seen with the people who have fallen in love with Last Remains. Many of them have had an opportunity to, play it, whether they're a content creator, but there's also a lot of people here who are really, really looking forward to playing the game. And I got to tell you guys, the best way to do it is going to be through participating in this Genesis Mint because, and we'll mention it a little bit more later, but we have a really awesome system set up going over the next week where myself and Jose are going to be running daily play tests for anybody who participates in the Genesis Mint. So if you haven't had a chance to play the game yet, you are itching to play it, you really want to try it out, this is your best opportunity here. But I also want to break down the mint itself a little bit. So, Coop, this mint, it seems pretty normal from the surface level. However, we have a system here that is going to be a little bit different. Of course, we're minting it on the Earn Alliance rocket launcher, which is another big development that happened just a little while ago. But then we also have a couple of different options in order to participate in it. I know that the engineering team did a very good job actually breaking down the packaging. So you have multiple packages to choose from, as well as giving you multiple ways to actually mint. You don't have to mint with Matic. You don't have to go that route if you don't want to bridge Matic in. We're actually making this possible for Web2 individuals to participate in the way they're used to by giving people an opportunity to actually pay by credit card as well. So all of this is proprietary, if I'm not mistaken. And this is one thing I wanted to bring you in on, Coop. This mint, like it is a pretty interesting system. We've got the packaging, we've got the credit card function. Like I guess this is part of a bigger picture here. That's why it's such an intricate process and such a big opportunity for people. You want to talk a little bit more on this? Like, is this something we're going to see for Earn Alliance, going forward in the future a lot? Was this something really, really special for Last Remains? Like, what's the reason behind having all these packagings, having this opportunity to pay in multiple ways? Like, just give us a little bit of your thoughts on this, Coop.
Yeah, sure. So when we started looking into the rocket launcher and what we wanted to bring to it, we were thinking about like Kickstarter. And as much as I don't like talking about Kickstarter and mints and kind of like mixing the Web3 and Kickstarter stuff, and the reason why I don't like talking about it is because it really shows the similarities of when you invest in a Kickstarter and you invest in a mint, you just don't know where it's going to go. But one of the beautiful things of Kickstarters is that they have those different packages, right? Like you can decide to be that dollar supporter, or you can support for $100. You can support to $1,000. I remember there's like sometimes like become a producer, of the game for $5,000. There's a lot of interesting stuff, and people got really creative with it, and it was fun. And we really just haven't seen that here in the Web3 space. And when we were thinking about pricing in the bear market, it really, for funding a project and making sure that it gets its legs up, you do need to fund it, right? But at the same time, we're not in, bull town where we can, charge, an ETH for a mint, nor would we want to. And, but at the same time, what if people did want to pay more? So that kind of sets the ground of where our thought process was, and where all this inspiration came. And it all led up to packages, and that's where we came up with our base price. We really looked around the market. We didn't want to go at the market standard. We're actually a bit higher than that, and we sat at 80 Matic, which the price has gone down as per today, which kind of even lower than we were expecting, which is totally cool for the community. And then you got your larger pack at 300. So it really gives you a good, and that's 300 Matic for everyone. So, and that really gives you a good range. We feel like we're going to be given some good offerings, and we also think that this also allows other games that want to launch on the Rocket Launcher to have that flexibility to be creative, to come up with new ideas, and figure out how could they incentivize their biggest fans who want to go all in and still give that base standard for people. So yeah, that's where the inspiration came from, and we're excited to see once this fix goes out what people do.
Yeah, as am I. I mean, there's a variety of different outlooks on it. I know that I've actually had a chance to speak with a lot of people during the playtests and in the community, some of our biggest supporters here, and we've actually had it brought up as a question, asking people, "Hey, what do you guys think? What stands out to you? What do you see the value in?" I've even been asked plenty of times. I see a couple of awesome community members in here who've asked me about it and been like, "Hey, what's your opinion on this?" And I got to say, everybody has their own expectations, right? Everybody wants different things. So I think it is nice that we give people an opportunity, but the opportunity would obviously be considered through people looking at things and seeing the value in it, right? So this is one thing I actually want to talk about really quickly here, Coop, so that people can understand it a little bit better. And I really want to break down what is in each package. Like what's the purpose of it? What makes it special? What makes a pro pack a pro pack? What makes an elite pack truly an elite pack? And I would love your help with that a little bit, Coop. But let me start by just breaking down the start here, and then Coop, I'm going to let you come in and maybe jump on top and just tell me like where you see the value in some of the larger packs like the Pro and the Elite. But let's start with the standard pack, because I know, Coop, we had this as a conversation in the team where everybody who's listening, we wanted to make sure that we put as much forward for you guys. The Genesis characters themselves are already such a valuable asset in the Last Remains ecosystem. They give you lifetime access to all of the character NFT perks, such as Battle Pass activation. They also give you a lifetime access to minting NFTs that you find in game. So when you pull them out, you'll have an opportunity to mint those NFTs. That is active lifetime. The mint itself has increased rarity odds, right? Like we have a lot of different things that come to give you value as a Genesis character alone, but we wanted to go above and beyond. So I know, Coop, one of the things we mentioned was with the upcoming equipment mint, because of how big of a deal it is for people to be able to get their characters equipped, we wanted to make sure that we threw that into the package here. So the standard pack initially was literally just going to be a Genesis character. But then we ended up throwing the equipment NFT whitelist. So that is going to be a big one that's coming up. And me and Coop will break down equipment a little bit more and let you know as to why that's such a big deal. But that's where the standard pack is now. And then going above that one is your first option. It's the Pro Pack. And I think this is one of the things where, Coop, I really want to get your feedback on this, because I think not everybody, even after seeing your awesome thread that you put out earlier, I think not everybody's fully on board with why this really stands above and beyond the standard pack. And that is that you end up getting the 8 random Genesis equipment whitelists. So the Genesis equipment is definitely different. It is a lot different. And you could probably imagine, considering the difference between standard character NFTs and Genesis character NFTs, that they have some similarities in that not like full durability lifetime access element. So Coop, I really wanted to get you to jump in and just really clear the air on what the big difference between standard equipment and Genesis equipment is, and why that is such a jump between the standard pack and the Pro Pack, making the Genesis equipment a perk that comes in on the higher price point.
Yeah, sure. So the standard pack, it really actually was driven by the community. We were trying to figure out, what is going to be something that people want and have been kind of wanting, as we've been giving out the different information around equipment NFTs and the characters themselves, which already was kind of a mind blown thing, right? People look at characters and can think about getting them as entire sets. Like if you go to Fortnite, you're buying entire skins for the entire body, like it's a skin. But we're straight up in customization mode, more RPG, MMO kind of style, where you're able to kind of get all these different things and customize it. And they all have attributes as well, which is pretty sick. So let's get to the Pro Pack. So the Pro Pack, we'll back up. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, the standard pack is going to give you C grade or higher character that is a Genesis. And for the people that don't know, Genesis characters are a lifetime pass at Disneyland. You get to play unlimited battle passes with Last Remains, and you're going to be able to also take out an unlimited amount of loot that you find in game if you are to survive and extract it to the blockchain. If you're playing the free-to-play characters and you don't have a Genesis character or an NFT character, which the normal NFT characters have 60-day lifetime, and then they're done. They're going to go to the graveyard, which we could talk about later. The Genesis characters keep going, and the free characters will anything that they find will be soul bound, so they can't go to. They can still play it. It's still going to be fun, but they can't go to the blockchain. You can't trade them, so you pretty much lose your trading rights. So then you get to the pro pack, and that's where we mix it up. So there is equipment NFTs coming, and that's coming very, very soon, and we have over 200 of them. And every body part, if you got the jacket, you got the shirt, the pants, the boots, the hat, you got gloves, you got all this stuff that you can do. And there's even weapons. We're going to make that more clear soon. We're separating equipment NFTs to equipment and weapon NFTs. And what we're talking about today is equipment NFTs. And we, for the Pro Pack, are giving 8 Genesis equipment NFTs, which means that these equipments don't disappear. And the standard equipments, we do give you normal equipment NFTs, but those have durability points. And what that means is that if you got your cool lightsaber looking katana, we still don't have names for skins and stuff, so I'm just giving you an example. Then you can use that for a few months and it will slowly deplete. You'll see the durability points go down, and if you let it go down to 0, it will break. But if you have a Genesis equipment NFT, it won't. It's unlimited durability, and it will last forever. And there's many special reasons why that's super special. For competitive reasons, if you're looking to have something that has your stats, has your play style, that you want to always be competing with, that's going to be sitting there. And then you also have your stake, search, and rescue, which is our on-chain staking game. Could be read on in the blog, read on our light paper, which if you use Genesis equipments to be attached to your characters on that game, they don't deplete. You're pretty much staking indefinitely. Because with normal equipment NFTs, only after a certain amount of time they will break, and then you'll have to refill your characters to keep that staking going. So I'm giving you guys a super high level. That's the pro pack. I'll stop there for a second before I get to the elite pack. But Guru, any questions or anything else I need to cover right there?
No, I think the only thing that we need to cover is something that makes me, and I know everybody's going to laugh at me for this, but there are more people out there like me, a little bit more interested in the Genesis equipment too. And it's not only on the utility, performance, or the stake, search, and rescue side, but it's also on the aesthetics. Let's be real. You rolling around in the zombie apocalypse, you want to look good. And if you want to look good with that equipment, that main character vibe where you got your outfit that you're always rocking in game, I don't know, a part of me is just really, really interested and excited to have my equipment, my main outfit that I'm going to be rocking in game every single game. So I think that's another thing to consider here too, is that of course, if you do end up getting attached to a certain identity, especially for, and I'm throwing this to the creators out there because I'm a creator myself, I'm a streamer. I know we have tons of streamers, tons of creators here that are supporting the project. This is a really, really big aspect too. People are going to have the opportunity to set up their gear to be able to fully outfit themselves and have that look, right? That Dr. Disrespect look that they're looking for in the Last Remains ecosystem. But no, Coop, I think you did a really good job. I really want to just double down again, guys, that the biggest difference between the standard equipment and the Genesis equipment is, of course, that Genesis aspect of it is going to last forever. This is very much a mixture of Web3 and Web2 coming together, where we give people that full lifetime non-ephemeral experience with their equipment and their assets, but also on the Web3 side, giving you just that extra stake in the game for being an early supporter and helping make this happen. So Coop, with that being said, let's jump into the Elite Pack, because I really want to get your feedback on this. There's a lot in the Elite Pack, whereas the Standard Pack goes from a standard equipment to Genesis equipment. The Elite Pack really, really, really packs things on, one of which, of course, is the perfect set for the Genesis equipment. The Genesis lightsaber skin, or sorry, I shouldn't call it that, the Lightana skin. I don't know what we're calling it yet. I know we're up for debate for that, which is really fun. And then the final one, which is the private invitation to the early playtest, and I'm pretty sure, Coop, and you can jump on and mention this yourself as well, that we also have the opportunity to get a little bit more involved with the game dev chat too for anybody who's going to be participating with the Elite Pack. So break it down. I'll let you take it from here, Coop. Let's go over the Elite Pack.
The elite pack. You gotta get that deep voice going, man. Or just the, the elite. Get something crazy. So for the elite pack, that's where we got creative. This is where where we gonna give you producer for last remains, and what were we gonna do, and we really wanted to figure this out. So if you are on the whitelist that's about to get activated on this fix that goes out, you purchase early, right? Within the first 24 hours, you would be able to get this Lightana is the code name of our skin. If you heard that from Guru, but totally don't quote us on that. We're still figuring out the names, and that's going to be sick. But that is a normal equipment skin, so that means that's something that has durability points and will last forever. So one of the benefits of getting an elite pack, if you're in the whitelist, or even if you're not, you're in the open mint, is going to be getting that same Lightana skin, but as a Genesis. So that's going to be sick. That's something that will last forever, which I'm very excited about with that concept. And again, we're not throwing this whole last forever concept. Like, it sounds like today, last forever sounds like something normal. This is not normal. This is something now. This is something that's going to end in the next 45 days. These are the opportunities for early adopters. So just FYI, this is special. Lightana is going to be coming. So then the next thing is where people started giving us feedback. When I was talking about the community helped us curate this, they wanted to have their kind of style, like, because right now it's random gear that you're going to be getting when if you get the standard pack, it's 8 random gear from the free mint that's coming up, and then for the pro pack, it's 8 Genesis random gear. So if you're looking at those images, you could be looking a little Frankenstein-y. You might get lucky and look really cool. Who knows? It might just fit your style, or you might get something. You might trade it on the blockchain. We'll figure that out as we keep going, right? But what is super cool, and I'm really excited about it, is the perfect Genesis equipment mint ticket. I know it's a mouthful, but let's break it down. So the mint ticket is going to allow you to mint 8 equipment gears that are Genesis for whichever character you choose. So if you want to look like the fireman because you're going to go get the fireman, or the teacher, or the nurse, or November the assassin, with her badass hood, you could just choose her. Well, first you got to own her, and once you own her and you burn your mint ticket with her, you'll look like a badass. You get the full ass assassin breakdown for her. So it's really, really cool. And what I like about this concept is who's going to hold, who's going to wait, who's going to see when they're the last one with the tickets, and they're looking at who hasn't made a Genesis equipment for November, or for a particular set that doesn't exist yet in the Genesis market. So I think that's going to be very interesting. And what's super, super, super interesting for me personally, especially being bullish on this, is that I want to use the mint tickets on characters that come out in the future. So when we reveal future S-grade characters and the SS and the triple S classes that are going to be coming out in the future, and you decide to use a ticket on that, I mean, that's just crazy. So these tickets are going to be very unique. We're only doing it for the next 2 mint events, the 2 Genesis events. We'll have packs for both of them. And after that, that's pretty much it. So that's one of the things that you'll be getting. We'll be airdropping those later this month. So that's one of the first things that we airdrop. So that's going to be really awesome. And then the last thing is that you get access to our dev channels in Discord. If you're holding the ticket, there's going to be a special group for being ticket holders. And we're going to have some cool stuff. We're going to be inviting you guys to some interesting events, is all I got to say.
That's awesome, Coop. Thanks for breaking that down. And it sounds amazing. I really like it. But I just want to let everybody in the chat here, anybody who's listening, know the Mint is back up and running. If you guys did not already see in the Discord, we just announced it. So we just had a situation because it runs on a similar contract where the UI was just picking up the old contract. It was a simple fix. We got it back up and running, and the mint is underway. I actually already minted mine. So I'm really, really excited for this. Everybody knows it's just up and running. So feel free to navigate over. I know that we put the link on the Last Remains page. We've made an announcement. That page is still the same one that'll be working here, so feel free to go check it out. Thank you all for your patience once again while we get that fixed out. You know how it is. It's never a mint day without at least one hiccup, but we're happy that we're able to fix this one the way that we are. Now, that being said here, Coop, we've got that out. I just want to let everybody know once again that we are going to be doing a section at the end of this space where we answer questions from everybody here who's in the audience. So if you haven't yet, go check in the bottom right corner of your phone. There will be a little icon to open up the thread for the space. Do us a favor, hit the like button, give us a retweet just so we can get a few extra eyes on the space, but then also throw a question in there and we will be answering the questions at the end of this space. And if you're one of the 5 people who's chosen with your special question, there's some amazing ones in there already that I see. You will actually qualify, regardless of participating in the Genesis Mint, for an equipment whitelist leading up to the next mint happening relatively soon here. Now, that being said, I want to jump into the next little section here because, Coop, you mentioned all about the value that comes to the different packages. I think that that's amazing. I'm happy that you're able to mention that, but I think there is one value here that comes with every single package that I myself really want to talk about because this is just where my passion lies with the game, and that's playing the game. Guys, if you've seen any of the content, you probably know that Last Remains is a banger of a game. We have a fully playable game right now that's going through playtesting. It's a lot of fun. We actually just this last weekend even released a huge update for the game that had a new map section on it, a massive new map section. You can check it out on the Twitch if you didn't to see some of the community game night streams that we had going on. It is awesome. I've been having a blast. Everybody who comes to play the game has been having a blast. And we realize that this is the primary value that people are looking for in the game, right? So for everybody who participates in the Genesis Mint, just know we actually have a playtesting happening every single day leading through this mint, where if you are participating in the Genesis Mint, you actually get opportunity to access those playtests. Now, of course, again, guys, we can only be so limited in how we're able to get the players into each playtest. We can only have so many people participating in each game because we are limited on how many people can be there. So we're going to be setting up a system. Myself and Jose will be working on it to organize people into playtests throughout the week, and we're going to be getting you guys playing the game. So that, for me, is the biggest value that comes regardless of how you participate. So even if you're not somebody who wants to pick up an elite pack and you just want a standard pack, you're still going to qualify for this. We want to get you all access to come and check the game out. So, first and foremost, you can see exactly what it is that you're supporting. And I think everybody who gets that opportunity is going to be really, really happy. All right. That all being said, though, Coop, I just wanted to make sure that Oh, go ahead.
I gotta say real quick. Did you just say the primary value of this is that the game is fun?
I would have to say that is the major value we've been pushing in the game. Wouldn't you, Coop?
Yeah, I would agree. But it's just interesting how we have to say that these days, right?
I mean, you're not wrong. I have to agree with that too. And I think there's a lot of people who've been around in the space for a while here and they've seen this change. And I think a lot of us have a smile on our face now that the primary value for Web3 games is that they're fun. And I think that should be the primary value for any game. And in this case, when it comes to a game like Last Remains, we actually had somebody mention in one of the streams that they think Last Remains would actually succeed whether it was a Web 2 or a Web 3 game. I had a huge smile on my face when I heard that, actually, because it makes me realize that, one of the big benefits of Web3 is not just to add that financial element to things and be like, hey, we're selling you stuff, come in and make a bunch of money because it's meme coin season. That's not what it's about. It's about creating a game and using this technology to innovate and create novel experiences through the game and the Web3 integrations themselves. So people can come in and feel that unique, inspiring aspect of playing games that we used to have years and years ago. That same feeling everybody's probably feeling right now with the new Zelda game. My goodness, if you guys have not seen those clips, it's wild. But let's jump into the next section here, Coop, because I think as far as the mint goes, there's only really one thing left, and that's just letting people know about the schedule here. So maybe if you want to take it away, Coop, how's the schedule for the mint going to look? I know that we're running a whitelist mint right now, but how do things proceed, and how long are people going to have an opportunity to participate in it?
Yep. So right now is the whitelist mint. It's for our partners, our homies, our people that have supported us in the past. And if we missed you, we're sorry. It's just been a really good group. And then of course, all the free character holders that we gave out a few weeks ago. we took a snapshot sometime, I believe, on Friday, who would be automatically added onto the whitelist. And then we have that happening. So that's going to be ending in the next 24 hours. So around a little over 23 and a half hours here, then we switch over to the open mint. This is where everybody gets to go at it. And with the open mint, we're actually going to keep it open for the next, I believe, 6 days, 5 to 6 days. I wish I had my notes here, but I believe we're ending on the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we're going to be keeping it open. We're going to be doing different promotions, as Max said. We'll be inviting people to play as well, and just tagging all these different communities that have been enjoying the game so far. It's going to be fun. During the open mint, everything's the same. There's no like extra discount. The only benefit, as I was mentioning earlier, is if you were on the whitelist or are on the whitelist and you purchase, then you do get a little cherry on top of getting the Lightana skin as an airdrop.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Coop. And yes, so I think one thing I just wanted to get your feedback on here before we go into the next section, Coop, and I know we've got a lot that we've gone over here, but it's just important that we go over this. I want your feedback on exactly why the system is the way it is. I know that we've opened up the public mint for quite a while, and I think it's something that's a little bit more, traditionally Web 2. Like Web 3, everybody wants to have these short mints. They want to create a bunch of FOMO. They want people to come in, like gas war for things. What's the reason for the open mint? I myself have my own thoughts on it. I want to give people opportunity, and of course we have events running all week that give people a chance to really consider the option. But what was really your thought on having the open mint open for the 5 days? It is 5 days, by the way, but the 5 days afterwards, Coop.
Yeah, for us it was really just opening up for the people, right? Like I really do believe there's probably better ways of giving it out for the people and saving on the gas wars and everything else, and that's definitely something we should be considering on building into the rocket launcher itself as we continue to evolve our alliance. But it's being able to just allow the people who came late to the party, where it's like if you showed up at a bar and the music's popping, but they ran out of alcohol, that would like kind of suck. I mean, you can still dance, but you can't like get to the next level. Poor analogy, but you know what I mean. It's just being able to let people who are going to discover it this week, and just like you were saying, Max, letting people play today, right? Like we're actually it's working. It's something we're streaming. It's something that people are laughing and screaming at. Like it's coming together. I'm not saying it's an amazing game yet, but we can feel the potential, and it's fun. It looks good, and yeah, we just want to make sure as that network effect happens, which it takes days for content and information to hit the web, and for a friend to have dinner with somebody like, yo, did you check that out? Like we want to just make sure we have an opportunity for them to come hop on in the next few days, but we're also not sure how long it's going to last.
It's a good point. And with that being said, I know that we're already going through the whitelist mint. We've had a couple of them actually get minted already. You can see them on OpenSea. It's really cool to see them. I know that they have the animated borders actually. I'm sure that everybody's had an opportunity too, but if you have not yet and you minted something, especially if you got something really awesome, make sure you throw it on Twitter. Let us know. Just grab that. I believe that you can actually save the video file, throw it on Twitter, and let us know. Tag me in, and I want to see what you guys got. I'll let you guys know. I already minted mine. I ended up getting a Dutch, which is pretty dope. I think that's actually really, really awesome. I'm happy I got a Dutch, so I'm really, really happy about it. Dutch is the cowboy. If you guys have seen me rolling around, I've got a couple of clips where I've done a little bit of like Spider-Man theory and got people taken out with pistols. So I'm happy. I'm happy to have that range weapon mastery. But that being said, Coop, let's jump into another section here. Thank you once again for explaining that. Just so everybody knows, to really summarize, I think the biggest thing here is just, again, with the market the way it is and Web3 gaming being the way it is, we're not just selling into FOMO anymore. We're not just selling characters and NFTs to people who are just like looking for quick flips, happy to really siphon out all the liquidity that we can. We're building a game here, and throughout the whole week, we're going to be streaming all of the playtests that happen. We're going to give people an opportunity to, if they have not yet seen the game, and really, analyze if this is something for them, if they want to participate in it, and then come and support the project. So I'm really excited to see how people take to it. So far, I think people have taken very well, but we just got to keep things going. So we're going to keep pushing that forward and making sure that people see value in being part of the Last Remains holder ecosystem, part of the community, etc. But I think one of the other things that I really want to talk about here, Coop, just to let people know, the value in general that comes with the Genesis characters. Of course, we've talked about a few things. We have, of course, the lifetime activation, and I just want to reiterate this because this is very important. It's probably the biggest value point here. This is your lifetime ticket to the Last Remains, amusement park, we'll call it. It's definitely not Disneyland, but it is in its own way if you love zombies and danger. So it gives you a lifetime activation of the character NFT perks such as the battle pass, the minting opportunities, and then of course being able to participate in the stake search and rescue. You have the increased rarity odds here. So if you guys haven't seen, it's actually on our light paper. We break down how rarity works for these. So there will always be an opportunity to participate in getting a character NFT. We will on game launch actually have character NFTs purchasable through a USDC pegged, but these will be standard. They're ephemeral character NFTs, so they only last for a season, and the rarities on these will drop significantly. So the Genesis Mint, one of the big things about this is that the rarity odds actually go up. So you have a 20% chance to get an A class in this and a 3% chance to get an S class. This is huge if you're going for any of those higher rarity, higher grade characters. And of course, they're not just pay to win, but they will give you the attribute bonuses that help fit into your character playstyle. So if you're a rogue and you're looking for an assassin, look no further. If you end up pulling a November, that is going to be absolutely perfect for you. And likewise, if you're somebody who likes guns, etc., you'll be able to actually work with characters like Hugo or Dutch here, like I minted, and you'll have that extra bonus, right? So there's a lot of opportunity there to be able to capitalize on some of the higher rarity. But then there's also some other things that come into play here too, which is really, really big. Coop did mention it, but I just want to go over it. And Coop, I really want to break it down. I want to spend like the next few minutes just tangenting on this. And that is something that we've said a couple times in the space, and we've already had a thread from you come up, and that's the stake search and rescue. So this is something, of course, that we've only had talked about a little bit here, but I really want to double down on it. Stake Search and Rescue is this gamified staking minigame that we have coming out very soon here that is going to be a huge opportunity for you as an early holder of Last Remains NFT assets to participate in seeding the initial equipment economy. So we'll break that down. Don't worry, I'll let Coop do it because he does a really good job, but I really want to tell you guys what the game is. The game itself, it is a strategy game. It is a staking minigame that incorporates some traditional strategy and text-based RPG elements into it. The game itself is actually kind of cool. I like it, and we're even using AI to be able to create like novel experiences and encounters in the text-based RPG experience, and I really, really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to actually following it and seeing how it pumps out different scenarios. If you guys have played the minigame in the Discord, you'll have a small little taste as to what this feels like. It feels cool to see something, pop up and see what your characters are going through without you actually playing it. You get to just read about it. And then, of course, in the process, you're able to potentially get equipment and different loot that your characters will be able to grab while they're fending for themselves in the zombie apocalypse. So again, there's a lot here. Maybe if you can do us a quick favor, I believe it's Ryan on the Last Remains Twitter right now, maybe just pin the tweet that we posted a little bit ago talking about the stake search and rescue minigame. I know we did a little demonstration there, so maybe if you can pin it to the top so people can check it out, that would be great. But Coop, I went on my little tangent. Now I'm going to give you the floor. Let's talk about stake search and rescue. Give us a breakdown. What is it? Why is it awesome? And what can people look forward to with stake search and rescue being released soon?
Yeah, so stake search and rescues are, as Guru was really saying it well, is our gamified staking, where we really want to not just reward people for owning NFTs, and we want people to, and not incentivize people to hold. We want this to be fun, and one of the fun aspects that we started with was actually before staking and before these NFTs was starting in our Discord community. So if you go to our Discord community, there's an awesome bot where you could start playing Last Remains in a text-based RPG style. And that was really fun because it really came from our community and our team outside of engineering that started developing this bot, and they came up with a story and the pathway of making it fun, and we started doing it to give away, making it competitive, doing live, voice, kind of Twitter spaces, but more like Discord spaces as well. And it just really brought like the early people together. So it all started there, and then we were thinking, how could we have fun with different, ways of using this IP, even though it's early, right? We're not like Pokemon or something. We're not going to sell this IP out. Nobody's like running to us to like start creating mods or like anything, exciting with Last Means yet. So what could we do to kind of show the potential of games and what you could do with a game community, with NFTs in an open way, in an open fashion, and starting with us internally to kind of show examples. And that's where Stake Search and Rescue really came. And it was really from those ethos, community inspired, being able to do staking without just like sitting around getting rewards to hold, and making it competitive. And then also the last thing I would say that's missed is you need to be a gamer. Like you have to, know how this stuff works, and kind of get into it, because there's a mystery to it and all this other stuff. So diving into it, how does Stake Search and Rescue play in the ecosystem of Last Remains? So you have to have one character NFT, be it Genesis or non-Genesis, it doesn't matter, and 3 equipment NFTs in order to stake. And when you stake that one character with those 3 equipments, they go on a Stake Search and Rescue, where they're essentially playing the game Last Remains in an automatic offline fashion. So when it's staked, you'll get these messages every 15 to 45 minutes saying what's going on with your character. Your character might have ran into a zombie, might have, lost some HP, might have found some loot, might have ran into the boss. There's all these different things that can happen. And as it's happening, you come back to your computer every few hours or every day or every week or whatever you want, and you'll see a few things. One is that your character may have found loot, and that's additional character NFTs. Equipment NFTs. My apologies. So you can find equipment NFT skins and weapon skins, and then they might have use some durability points on your equipments. So as I was mentioning, every equipment that's non-Genesis has durability points, and you're essentially using that up step by step. Every hour, every day, depending on how you're playing it, a staking game, a regular game, you're consuming those points, and that's where it all starts. So in reality, what you can do is you can build up a team of 3 characters with 8 equipment and 2 weapons each. So a total of 10 each. So 30 equipment skin and weapon skins in total with 3 characters. And depending on the team and the composition and what you equip on those characters, it will make it better for searching and getting equipment NFT rewards. And not to mention, if you build the right team, you're going to definitely have a higher chance of fighting against the boss if you were to encounter it. So it's really an offline text-based RPG. I hope that I don't, I can keep going, but that's the gist.
I think you did good. Did good, Coop. Don't worry. Let's put it this way. There is a lot of information to go over. And just to let everybody know who's curious about that more information, I've actually been working on a video with our team here, breaking it down a lot more thoroughly. So don't worry, we've got like a 3-4 minute video like usual with the introduction series that I've been putting together. That's going to break down Stake Search and Rescue and really let you guys know exactly what it looks like, right? So don't worry if that is a lot to swallow. You can check out the demonstration that we have above that kind of shares a little bit of a snapshot of what it's going to look like. Again, bear in mind, it's not final concept. That is just a very early concept to show you guys what it looks like. And then after that, just wait for the video that I have coming out that's really going to break it down. It's going to break it down like I used to break down things in the general Web3 gaming space. So you guys can expect that it's going to have a lot of juicy alpha and info for you to digest. But without further ado, I just want to let everybody know again, because this is going to be the last chance you have, we're going to be jumping into the community questions right away here. I do see that there's a bunch of questions, so thank you all for listing them. I really, really enjoy some of these. But if you have not yet, we're going to be really, 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 really close to wrapping this up. Jump into that thread on the bottom right, open up the little comment section that'll open the thread of the space. I know we are getting to the end of the space, but do us a quick favor, just hit that like button, grab a quick retweet just to bring some more eyes to the space. And then we are going to also expect that you throw a question in there, because we're jumping into the question thread. And if your question is one of the ones that's chosen, anything talking about last remains, Genesis Character NFTs, stake search and rescue, whatever you want to know, you have me and Coop up here that are going to answer it for you. It is mint day, so if you have any questions that you really want to get answered before you actually make a decision to participate, this is the time to do it. And then, of course, we're going to be answering them. And if your question is one of the ones that's chosen, we will, of course, have you qualify for the special equipment whitelist that's coming up right away. But Coop, I guess the only thing I want to say before, or give you a chance to say before we jump into the question thread, is really, is there anything else that you want to say in regards to the mint, the Genesis characters, stake search and rescue, equipment, anything you really want to mention is just like a must know that we haven't gone over yet before we jump into these questions? I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, not much to add. It's all going to be coming out in more detail. It's a lot, right? We don't want this game to be simple. This isn't like press W 3 times and then hit enter. It's supposed to be a mystery. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something that the community solves together over time, and it's meant to be for gamers. So a lot of that stuff's going to be broken down in the coming content and videos that Guru is working on, and I really just can't wait to, like, aside from, we're really focused on stake search and rescue right now because that's probably going to be the most immediate day by day thing that people get to play with, but we're also really, really excited for our monthly tests, and it's already fun. We're already enjoying the little that we have so far with everyone, and once we really get to open it up to all the character holders to get to play, that's where it's going to be really exciting. So and there's going to be monthly leaderboards, and not to mention the Genesis holders of Genesis character holders will have cash leaderboards that they'll be able to play on the monthly leaderboards. So it's going to be fun. So yeah, let's dive right into the questions.
Yep, let's do it. And without further ado, we are getting into the questions. So don't worry, as we go through these questions, there's still opportunity. We got our team taking a look really quick at everything that's in the thread. So if you have any questions in there, just keep them coming. And if it ends up getting chosen, it might not initially, but it could later on. We have 5 questions to go through. But Coop, this first one I think goes right to you. So I want to, this question comes from Holo. Holo, great question. I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of this. And this is all about the Katana skin for the whitelist mint. So Holo wants to know, can we explain who will get the Katana skin and whitelist for equipment mint? Will it be the holder or the minter? If the holder, then how can we understand on the secondary market, does the Genesis character have whitelist for Genesis equipment mint or not? So I think there's 2 questions here, essentially, Coop. First one is, and this one's really important, I think I can answer it, and if I get it wrong, let me know. But then the second one is, does the Genesis characters in general have whitelist for the Genesis or for the equipment mint? And I want you to answer that one. So first off, who gets it? Who gets the perks of the package? Is it the person who holds the NFT that was minted, or is it the person who minted it? Very easy answer. It is the person who purchases the pack. This is a purchase basis. We have the transactions all listed. We know what goes to what wallet. We know exactly who made the choice to mint which pack. This is the individual that gets the perks of the pack. So on the secondary market, if you're trying to snipe something that somebody ended up minting for 300s so that you can get the perfect pack, that's not going to work. It doesn't work like that. This is a minted basis. So if you minted it and then say you got something you didn't want, you're not stuck to have to use all of your perks on that character. You can go and you can trade and get the character that you want, the Genesis character that you want on secondary, and you still get to capitalize on the benefits that you have for minting that specific pack. Coop, I think I got that right. If I didn't, feel free to correct me. But then also, I think the other section of this that's really interesting is, do the Genesis characters have whitelist for the upcoming equipment mint? And that would pretty much be yes, right? Like every Genesis minted has it. But what about if you purchase on secondary? Do you still have it or not?
Have what exactly?
whitelist for the equipment mint, because you know how our standard packs come with a whitelist. So if you purchase a Genesis equipment or a Genesis character on secondary, do you still get that, or is that only for the minter as well?
We're only going to give it to the holder. So we did put this pretty clear in the description on the right side of the page, because we really were debating on like how we wanted to do this. And one thing is, you'll see some slight confusion. There is no attribute on OpenSea that says what pack you got, right? We didn't want to differentiate these things on packs. So this is all going to be tracked by original purchasers in terms of transactions. So what you will see at the end of the day, bottom line, is that we'll be taking a snapshot of holders. These dates will be announced soon, and you need to be holding these characters at the time that we take a snapshot so that you can get the airdrops. A lot of these airdrops are going to be coming up really soon. So just stay tuned. Right after these mints are done, we'll be pumping out a bunch of information. It's going to be fun.
Thanks, Coop. Appreciate it. So first off, Holo, congratulations. That was a great question. I'm happy to answer it. Just to summarize again, goes to the minter, not to the NFT itself. So don't go and try and snipe anything. Feel free to just get what you want as a character, and then know that if you did participate, your pack is connected to your character that you minted. Minus the fact that, of course, the equipment whitelist will go to the holders. So just keep that in mind. But if you got an elite pack, you're good. Don't worry. If you got an elite pack and you ended up with a C class, my apologies for that. I know it can sometimes suck, but just know that you can use all of your elite pack benefits on any character you want. So it doesn't have to be for that one you minted. But let's jump into the next question here, because I think this is a really good question. And Coop, I'm going to just literally let you take this, because I think you'll be reiterating a few things that we said. But this comes from MJ. And MJ says, like, what is the optimal staking experience that the Elite Pack has? Can we explain in detail? Like, why is the Elite Pack such an optimal staking experience in comparison to everything else? Coop, do you wanna break that one down and tell people why they would be benefiting from having the Elite Pack when it comes to staking?
Yep, great question. So, and this blog is going out any minute now to kind of break that down even more. And what it is that if you're familiar with, okay, so we'll start with Stake Search and Rescue. So with Stake Search and Rescue, the reason why it's optimal is because the first meta, and for people who aren't gamers in the room, that's just like the way that the thing that rocks, the way that you play the game, that has the most skill and advantage to win. So the most competitive way to play something. So the meta for pre-season 0 of Stake Search and Rescue is to simply get the full outfit that matches the character style. So for the assassin, it's going to be the assassin gear. For the firefighter, it's going to be the firefighter gear, right? And that means that that character will have the most optimal way of playing search, stake, and rescue, and be able to find things easier, be able to survive longer, and have essentially hidden bonuses underneath the hood for the algorithm to essentially get more rewards. Now, Stake Search and Rescue, the reason why I was like, let's start with Stake Search and Rescue, is a different game than Last Remains, the actual game that you'll be able to play hopefully on the Unreal's Epic Games Store, on Fractal, etc., the actual PC and Mac game. And that meta won't change on the actual game. That meta is going to be quite standard. We're going to try and think of it like League of Legends. We're going to try to really balance out many different characters together with many different gears. But for Stake Search and Rescue, it's going to be more like Teamfight Tactics, where the meta changes every season drastically. It's like, yo, I just was gone for 6 months. What's happening? That kind of change. And preseason 0, we're telling you right now what the meta is and what the most optimal way to play, which is the elite pack will give it to you. Just don't even think. But when we get to preseason 1 later this year, that's where you will need to get different gear. And we won't even mention anything. This is for the community to find out together. And this is where, hopefully some cool people will make some awesome tools to kind of figure this out. And that's the meta. You're going to figure out the meta as a group. You're going to figure out how to make this character very optimal with these different types of equipments to get the best score, and which means get the most gear looted out of the Stake Search and Rescue. So that's what it means. I know that's a long answer, but just wanted to kind of give you the future because it's not permanent.
Thanks, Coop. Great answer. So, and also really great question, MJ. I think it's important to know, right? Like, why is it an optimal staking experience? I think a big thing to keep in mind too is the Genesis. The Genesis equipment is massive. You will not like imagine this. Normally, you'd be playing Stake Search and Rescue, where your equipment would be, breaking down in durability. This, you're going to have the permanent durability for your equipment. It's just going to be, you're going to always be able to have that equipment that is going to work very well for your character. That's going to increase performance. Yes, it might not be the per season perfect meta on that character at all times, but you'll have that whole set to be able to work with to like distribute over and be able to utilize in certain ways. So really, really good question, MJ. I think it's important to go over something like this. Now, I think one of the interesting things that I want to touch on here, because it was a really good question. It actually comes from Psyche, and I want to know here, Psyche. First off, good question. You ended up also qualifying here, and it's a very simple question. I just want to ask it for you, Coop. Is there a bonus if you equip a full set on a character? Have we decided that yet? Is there going to be a bonus for like a full set equip, or is it going to be just based off of the equipment itself?
For Stake Search and Rescue this time, yes. And
Okay.
that bonus may change. Like we might continue to have full set bonuses. We might have themes of like, a particular item goes great on a particular character. So there's a lot of different themes that we will explore with Stake Search and Rescue. In terms of Last Remains, the answer is no. There will not, if you get some like perfect set like in Last Remains, that's just too OP. We don't want this to be a pay to win game. This will have edge. This will have skill. There are stats and attributes that you're playing with that combining the right stuff, you will have an edge, but you're not going to be OP, and that's key. And full set bonuses are a bit too OP, at least in our game design model right now on the Last Remain side. So the answer is yes and no.
Great answer, and also really, really good question. Thanks, thank you for that. I think that's something that we really want to go over. We want to make sure people know in game. Again, this is a highly competitive game, right? So I think we don't want to throw too many bonuses on top of characters because we don't want people to just be rolling around like a raid boss. Like you yourself might be skilled enough to be a raid boss. We've seen it before. Geez, we've seen a few people run through. I think on the last stream we had Danning practically being a raid boss. Nobody could deal with her. She was just literally murdering everybody. So I mean, you can be a raid boss if you're good, but we don't want you to just equip yourself and just throw your credit card on the table and be like, I win. Because that's not fun, right? We don't want that kind of thing in the game. So really, really good question. And thanks, Coop, for answering it. So we have so many good questions here. It's really, really hard to choose. But I think we're going to go one here with Justinos. I believe that's Darmonte. So Darmonte, great question. This one talks about something I actually would really like to know more about too. So Coop, I'm about to challenge you on this one. I hope you're prepared. This is a great question from Justinos that says about the leaderboards. Specifically the Genesis leaderboard. Does it also exist in game launch? And will this exist in game launch or just beta launch? And also, does this leaderboard apply to Stake Search and Rescue? So Coop, answer this one away. I think I can answer the first one, but you can just correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Genesis specific leaderboard is something that's going to be an early game launch, a pre-game launch thing. When we get into full game launch, it's just going to be a full public leaderboard. And there will be some exclusive leaderboards for different like faction elements that we're adding into the game, but I don't think we're going to differentiate Genesis from standard once the full game launches. We're just differentiating it now because we're going to have some extra rewards attached to all the Genesis holders. But then, yeah, Coop, if I got that wrong, let me know. But also, Stake Search and Rescue leaderboard. We want to know a little bit more about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so your Guru is exactly right. This is a pre-game thing until we get to season 0. And yeah, so any preseason, whenever you see preseason, it's pretty much included in those things. And it's just to be fun. We want the ethos of this community to be competitive. We all come with an esports kind of love and background, and some of us were actually in it, and it's just the way that we want this to be played out. So that's the leaderboard. As Guru said it exactly right. And as we get into Stake Search and Rescue, like official leaderboards, Genesis or not, there will be a leaderboard based off of what is called search points, which there's actually the game is mirrored. It's a text RPG version of last remains. So if you're playing the stake search and rescue, you're going to be learning the elements of the actual game that you'll be playing monthly in the tests. And so when you're playing and you got these characters and these equipments, the more optimal you have put your team together and you've equipped the right equipment skins and weapon skins on your characters, the more search points that you'll get. They just perform better. And based on that, there will be leaderboards. So as people are tuning their teams and creating multiple teams, they will get more search points. And there will be weekly and monthly leaderboards, and there will be airdrops for them. We probably won't introduce like competitive leaderboards until the second season. Like the first, we pretty much gave away the meta, right? So most of this will be based off of just generic staking rewards, which are also just awesome. But yeah, leaderboards will be coming for stake search and rescue, and it's going to be based off of search points.
Fantastic. Thanks, Coop. And yeah, I guess that's just a really important thing for you guys to keep in mind. If you're wanting to just really gamify this, if you're wanting to do your best, we are going to have a leaderboard. As we said, Last Remains is all about that performance, right? That competitive element. We want to make sure that we always put the support behind that. So I expect, and this is a bit of alpha for all of our, really, really big brain creators out there. If you guys can start putting some early content out talking about Last Remains stake search and rescue strategy, I guarantee there is going to be some crazy views for that, guys. So just alpha from one creator to another, that's the kind of spicy stuff that gets you going. I think one of my biggest videos of all time, one of my most successful videos of all time, was really, really early on in the Axie days when I gave everybody that early alpha on, like, here you go. This is a secret recipe to breeding Axies, and it absolutely blew up. So if you guys want something like that, highly recommend you jump on figuring that strategy out and starting to put some videos up. And I know that I will be the one on there figuring it out. So I'm going to definitely be excited if you guys throw some content up. I'm going to support you. I'll be your #1 fan. So anybody who wants to make content on that, get it done. Now we have our final question. I know we're a little bit over, Coop, but I thank you for hanging out and making sure that we get these questions in. And I think this is a really good question. I really like this one, actually. And I'm actually kind of curious about it. So it's from Tardan, and Tardan asks here specifically, I'm going to answer a bit of this, but then maybe Coop, you can jump in and just, I want you to explain a bit more of like the stake search and rescue journey on this. So Tardan asks, can you stake Genesis and non-Genesis together and get a boost from the team just from having one Genesis player? Obviously, having all Genesis would be better, but I want to start slow and slowly build a good team over time. So Tardan, first off, great question. I'm going to start this by saying, look, you take the route that you need to take to make sure that this is comfortable. This is a good experience for you. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to go, above and beyond and FOMO into the experience. Like if you have a couple of standard character NFTs, you ended up picking up a Genesis, you're happy with it, you can put it in, great. Know as well that you're going to have equipment whitelist. Sorry, I should say whitelist for the equipment mint happening very shortly here. So you do already have a boost just from having that one Genesis character. Now, on that note, just know that, of course, the Genesis characters themselves are going to be a bigger boost right now because you get all the perks of the extra equipment whitelist. If you did go with the Pro Pack, of course, you have Genesis equipment coming up, which is not going to break. It'll be undurable. But I think the biggest thing to keep in mind here from my point of view, Tardan, is don't think about the differentiation of Genesis to standard when you're getting started. Think more about how you can utilize what you currently have to make the most and really grow from there. Think about it this way. Maybe you run and you have a really, really good strategy going with stake search and rescue, and then you're able to get some really valuable equipment that you can then maybe sell to someone else on secondary to help get a little bit more funds together so that you can create, or you can go and acquire more Genesis characters, right? Like, think about this as more of a journey for you where you can actually utilize what you have starting to get yourself to where you want to be come game launch. And this is something I think that we're really trying to communicate to the community here, is that these are all just starting points. These are early opportunities that we're giving to you to build up your starting point for Season 0. When Season 0 launches, everybody who's here right now should have plenty of time and opportunity to be able to build up that battle vault, that war chest, that when we do finally launch the game, you're ready to go. You are like set up. You know, have a bunch of equipment. You're familiar with stake search and rescue. You've had opportunities to play the game multiple times throughout our early play tests. Maybe you even qualified for some special rewards in those play tests that allow you to even potentially go and get the Genesis character that you're dreaming of. And these are the kind of things that we want you to have an opportunity to do, right? So don't feel like you need to rush this. Take your experience and put it into the Last Remains ecosystem and have your own journey set up. We don't want this to be short for you. If this was so easy for you to just come in and buy everything and have it done, it wouldn't be a game, right? We want to make sure that no matter where you're at, financially speaking, you have an experience, you have a journey for you that starts now in the early parts of The Last Remains and really, really kicks off once the game launches. So that's the answer from my point of view. But Coop, if you have anything you want to say on top of that I missed, or just talk about like, you know, the player journey in general and how you see, you know, people who are here right now and their journey leading up to game launch, I think that'd be a great way for us to end this space off. So take it away. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. I know we covered a lot, this evening, and super stoked that things are going through with the mint and stuff. So, but the journey starts, now. We're together. We've been creating this community together. We're probably just passing about 60,000 users that have come together around this idea in the last 6 months. So it's been really just humbling to kind of see this come from, let's just make some zombies with Unreal 5 and have fun with it and figure out the fun factor, and then it started becoming fun in November, December, and it's just all coming together. So the journey for everybody else is to help us figure out and iterate on that fun factor. This is a community first project, as I mentioned, and it says on the site, and I think it's a very important thing, and we'll continue to talk about this year, is that games need to reinvest their revenue into the community through esports, because you can't do dividends, you can't create securities. You can, you got to get licenses, you got to do all kinds of stuff. So the whole idea of a DAO and all this other stuff is very debatable right now. But what's not debatable is that esports rewards is awesome. It's fun. It's competitive, and why not do this Web3, community building and make sure everybody wins in the sense that there is a rightful reward at the end. So as I said before in one of my recent tweets that hopefully was pinned, if Axie Infinity was to reinvest their 2021 revenue on the marketplace alone, that would be $650 million of esports, competitive revenue, right? Esports competitive rewards, which would be insane if they distributed that even across 5 years. That would be insane. Just so that's where I'm very curious where this is going to go in terms of the long-term journey. In terms of the short-term journey, let's have fun playing the staking game. Let's play our monthly tests, which will become bi-weekly tests, which will become weekly tests. It's going to be fun, and give us feedback. We're here to talk in Discord. We're here to listen. These ideas are changing, and a lot of, like, I'll say at least 20% of what you see today came from people who are outside of the team. So I'm really excited to build this together.
Well said, Coop. And I couldn't agree more. I echo that same sentiment. Everybody who's here right now, again, wherever we start, but we've got a really amazing project that I'm excited to see come to fruition. And I couldn't be more happy to be doing it with this amazing team, the Earn Alliance Last Remains team here, and the amazing team that we have in the community. So much love, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out for the space. I hope we ended up answering a lot of questions, or just in general giving a lot of information for you guys to be able to understand more about the game, the Genesis characters, the mint happening, stake search and rescue, the upcoming equipment mint, and just everything Last Remains. There's a lot here. This is a complex project. It's a complex situation because Web3 gaming is not simple, but we're doing our best to make sure that this happens correctly, and we're doing it with all of you. So thanks once again for hanging out. Once again, if you have not yet, make sure that you check the tweets above. Go and participate in the Genesis Mint if you have not yet and you're thinking about it. We do have the links up. It is live, it is running, and we look forward to seeing you not only in the Discord, but also on the battlefields in the streets of Chongqing. So thank you all once again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.